Obviously, coming off a win that was nice to get compared to coming off the Penn State loss, and Iowa was always very scary to play. They're so talented offensively, but thought defensively in the second half we did a lot of really good things. I thought we took away the three. I thought we were very dialed in on Perkins. I thought Terrence did a great job. I thought Marcus did a really good job. Both those guys graded out very high. And we forced them into a lot of really hard twos, which is what we want to do. So, and then offensively, we scored 47 points under 7 seconds, which was a season high, and one of the things we strive for. And then I thought we did a really good job of playing against their matchup zone and finding opportunities to score there. But now it's Minnesota, and they're good. They're really good. They're coming off a tough one, which Nebraska might be playing as well as any team in the league. They shoot it. They've got a dynamic point guard. I think they lead their point guard leads country in assists. I think as a team, they're number 1 in the country in assisted baskets. Mitchell and Christie both really shoot it. And then they're big and physical. Pharrell Payne's turned into a very good player. Everybody knows Dawson is very talented and very good. They're competing at a very high level. They're playing really hard. Ben has done a fantastic job, and this is a very good basketball team, as they've proven they can beat a lot of people.
I guess, Brad, we have the other night where Marcus and Terrence aren't quite where we've seen them always offensively, and to get a win and have guys like Coleman and stuff, like, how much confidence does that give you that some of your two possible non-league guys are able to still step into that?
Yeah, it's comforting. It's really nice. I think that it's hard to be good every single night, and yet you got to figure out how to win when you're not. And not only I'm not saying they were bad, they were really good defensively. They just had big scoring nights, and it's a tribute to Iowa. They did a nice job, but again, it was the matchup zone and the press, and the just kind of called for it. Coleman was spectacular, and then I thought we had other guys, just really beyond Coleman, just kind of fill in and be great and do take advantage of the opportunities and the things that presented. So pretty nice to know that, and gives me a lot of confidence as a coach.
Coach Steve, do you feel like you took a positive step defensively against Iowa, something to build on down the stretch?
Yeah, and I think everybody's we have to be better defensively in terms of the little things. I think that this league has really good offensive teams. I think this team has, Iowa's a top 10 team offensively, and they make hard shots. I felt in the first half, Doug, that we guarded the snot out of them, but we gave them the shots, and we forced them into the shots we wanted them to, which was hard twos. And I think they shot 60% in the first half on out of the paint twos. It was actually the fewest layups or fewest paint points we'd given up in league play, which was 6 in the first half. And over the course of time, you got to play 40 minutes, and I thought we did a great job. They shot 35%, 16 from the 3, and I thought our defense was really good. We still made some mistakes. Certain guys made scouting report mistakes. We didn't switch as much in this game. I think that helped in terms of playing Iowa. But I thought we were much better and not in rotation near as much.
Obviously, you weren't too happy with Coleman after the Penn State loss. He has a career night against Iowa. What did you notice change maybe in his approach or even his demeanor going into the game and on the court against Iowa?
There was a lot. I thought he was very mature. I thought he was very focused. I thought he was, I thought he played really hard. I thought it was, I told him yesterday, I said it's, challenging shots at the rim, diving on the floor for loose balls. Those are all things leaders do. And, and it wasn't the drama, that we sometimes see with him. It was just being a great teammate, being very focused on the win and what it took for him to be a leader and act like a leader and look like a leader, and he did those things. So I'm really pleased with it.
You mentioned Saturday about Amani, that he might have been a guy that was playing 20 minutes a game, if not for the injury. Just how did you maybe see him handle having to deal with that? Maybe that opportunity was taken away because he missed so many games.
Yeah, it's really frustrating when you've got something that you can't control. The back spasms and the strain, and he would feel good, and all of a sudden he'd stretch and that thing would just lock up again, and those are things that you can't control. So he was frustrated. I think he knows he was on the cusp of being a big part of what we were doing. I think he feels that again. I think our training staff and doctors did a great job of helping him get back where he's good. A big part of his game is the physicality, the toughness. He's just nasty. I mean, he's just a physically hard-playing guy, and to have the confidence in that back and was an important piece. And I think he's handled it just fine. I think he's ready to relish the opportunity he has, no matter what that opportunity is. And he's a great teammate. He's a mature young guy, and whether it's 20 minutes a game or whether it's 8, I know we're going to get a physical, very hard-playing guy.
Luke talked to us a couple weeks ago about how every year a freshman has a game, and they've got to kind of stay ready for that. Maybe it's not apples to apples this year because of the injuries, but how do you guys as a staff make sure that message is continuously relayed when the minutes are maybe sporadic at times?
Yeah, it's one of the great challenges of coaching, to be honest, and being a leader is to keep the group connected, to keep them not getting frustrated. That gets hard because of all the outside noise that these kids hear, all the challenges that are out there. But it's always about understanding the process, and that process, it's not a race to get to something. It's making sure when you get there, that you're ready to perform and stay there. And we talk about that stuff, and whether it was Nico, or whether it was some guys. I mean, let's look at Coleman. Coleman wasn't ready as a freshman. Now as a senior, he's an all-league type guy, and he's a guy that can put his name in the draft. It's not winning that race. It's just being ready to develop and work, and you have to do the right things for that to happen. And in Nico's case, I mean, he's multiple workouts a day with Fletch. He's getting his shots. He's doing his stuff. He's heading our scout team. You know what? He doesn't get the reps a lot of days in practice with the first group, or that he got the other day. And yet he still knows exactly what we're doing. He's ready to go. That's film. That's it's a tribute to him. So boy, if they were all like that, it'd be easy. But great teammate. Speaks volumes to him as a teammate being prepared.
What had Amani maybe on the cusp before that injury? What did you see from him?
He does everything right. He's a great listener. He's not a good listener. He's a great listener, and he does everything that we ask him to do, and then he does that with kind of a nastiness, and I say that in a really good way. There's a physicality about him. There's a toughness about him. He plays with great edge, and he's super competitive. And we needed that. We still need that. But he doesn't ever play out of himself, out of what he's capable of. He's always very the games for a freshman. He plays the game pretty slow mentally, and that's a good thing. But high IQ, and he does what he's supposed to do, and he does it at a kind of a really competitive, highly charged level.
Anything stand out or unique about Minnesota offensively that you feel like you got to take away?
They're really balanced. They're going to run great actions. They're going to run a lot of actions. Everything's assisted. I think 70% of their baskets are assisted. Hawkins as a point guard is just a little guy that lives in the paint. He can shoot it. They're going to ball screen for him. Dawson's versatile. I think you've got to try to fight to keep them to one shot. And you can't give Christie and Mitchell and those guys threes. They've been shooting it up until the Nebraska game at a very high clip. Dawson can step out and stretch the floor. Fox comes in off the bench, and he's maybe as effective as any of those guys. So it's a physical team, but they're very well balanced, and it's what makes them good.
Against Iowa, 10 of your guys saw double-digit minutes on the court. As a coach, maybe can you remember the last time that's happened in one of your games, and is it something that's sustainable moving forward?
I don't know. I'd have to look at that. Maybe Oklahoma State. I don't know if it's been here. I don't know if I've had that. I think anything's sustainable if it's what it takes to win a game, and it's really hard to play. Sometimes it's really hard to play 10 guys, depending on the flow of the game. We got to make no mistake. We want to put our best players out there who give us the best chance to win that night. And whatever that scenario is, we're going to try to do that. So, some nights, every night's got its own identity. You like the fact that you have that depth and know that, okay, Nico Moretti can step in and Amani can step in, and tonight Justin's got it going, and that maybe meant less for a starter or two. So it's just the play and the feel of the game.
It's just kind of along those lines. Draven was a guy who had been in a little bit. We didn't see him against Iowa. Was he dealing with anything physically? What was
No,
like
it
that?
was just I kind of made the line substitution, and it was we needed a point guard and Justin and Luke, and it was just kind of the way that was. There was nothing to that. Draven's been fine. He played great at Penn State, and again, once we kind of got comfortable there in the second half of the group, it was we didn't change it very much.
Just because Nico was in a bigger role than he'd been in all season, you had lineups out there that hadn't played a ton of in-game minutes together, and maybe even none before Saturday. Just what is about the team you had that they could kind of figure it out in these different lineups?
We mix up lineups a lot in practice. We 2 days out, we mix the lineups up. It's not the starting group. It's always kind of different. It gives me as a coach the opportunity to look at maybe Nico and Draven playing with TJ, or Nico and Marcus and Justin. It just gives you a different opportunity. So we mix that up a lot. We get to see some of that in practice. Obviously, you don't know what it looks like in a game, but we've been working a good amount with bigger lineups, with sliding Coleman around to play in some of the 3, some of the 4, not just always at the 5. So we look at that in practice. We knew that was an opportunity and something we could do with Amani early. We didn't get afforded that luxury, but it's something we can sure look at and have been. So yeah, we get to see it in practice, but I think the guys are just comfortable because we do it in practice, and everybody knows kind of their role and what we're going to do.
Just because we're going to talk to him, another about Amani, like you mentioned the nasty, and I think on Saturday he talked about his trash talking. I'm just curious, early on in his time here, was there a moment that you were like, okay, he's maybe a little more comfortable in that role?
It was more in the recruiting process. Monty's always been that, for lack, maybe a little bit undersized, underbid, a little bit overlooked, whatever, but, he's always won. He's always won. And every time you look down, it was always a double-double. And it was 17 and 12, it was, 19 and 13, whatever it was. And he always came out on the right side. And, you watched him in AAU and you saw his fire and you saw his competitiveness. That's what drew us to him. He was not afraid of anybody. And that's not just flip a switch, well, I'm a freshman. No, that's when we step across the lines and compete, I'm gonna whip your butt. And I'm gonna try to do everything I can and figure out how to do that. And it may not be with the highest vertical jump, or something athletically, but he's gonna figure out how to whip you. And it's a great quality to have, not just for the basketball court, but for life. He's gonna find out how to win, and he does it. He likes to stir emotion. He's good at it, and it helps him as well.
Terrence was named to the Oscar Robertson Award watch list this afternoon. Wasn't on the Naismith or the Wooden. Just how do you maybe see the postseason honors kind of playing out for him this year?
I don't know. I really don't know. He deserves to be. Right? Go find a perimeter player that's playing any better than him. He's obviously had a tough situation, and it's a serious one, and I can't speak for the other awards, but I'm very happy for him. And I think he's very deserving of all those. So I don't know. I don't know how those will play out. I know he is absolutely one of the best players in America.